Hello Culers, it's Pablo here and welcome back to Barca Universal and welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. In today's video we're going to be looking at how Barcelona could line up for next season. That's going to be taking a look at some potential formations, some personnel, some tactics and a lot more. So it is going to be an interesting one, guys. I hope you guys do enjoy it. I will say with pre-season around the corner, I thought this was a good time to do this. Of course, you know, Barcelona are going to have some time to test out some formations, to test out some new players, also from La Masia, for example. And although the transfer market is not finished yet, so we don't know what Barcelona's finished squad will look like for next season. And by the way, guys, watch out for the market because things are not done yet with Barcelona. More moves will happen, players will be sold, and I think at least one or two more players will be coming in. There could be some big things too as well, of course. But still, I thought it was a good time to do this video. I hope you all enjoy it. And let's get started. And in today's video, guys, what I'm going to show you are going to be 4 different setups here. And these are the 4 that we used at some point during last season. So I thought that was most, appropriate. That was more realistic, really, for what we could be using next season. But please, guys, if you have any other suggestions as to how Barcelona could line up, then please do put those in the comments down below. And also, guys, regarding players or personnel that I'm putting in the lineups, don't take it as if, like, oh, that's how we're going to line up. This is just, it's just speculation. It's just to put 11 players on the pitch and show that sort of formation we could use. This isn't set in stone. You could use any, variants of players in the lineups. It's just to show how things could line up. So let's begin. So of course, let's start with the most likely formation Barcelona are going to be using during next season, and that is of course the old 4-3-3. I think this is a formation that we will probably revert back to right at the start of next season, and probably, guys, use it for the majority of our games throughout the campaign. It's the usual Barcelona, it's the usual, good football formation, if you like. So I think 4-3-3 is most likely what Barcelona are going to use. Ter Stegen, of course, will be most likely in goal for the whole season once he recovers from his injury. You can have a back 4 of Dest, Araujo, Eric Garcia and Jordi Alba. Of course, Emerson can come in there, Piqué can come in there, Mingueza can be used here and there, maybe Longley if they want to use a left-footed centre-back if he doesn't go, for example. In midfield, then you'd have Busquets, De Jong and Pedri, the classic midfield 3. What I will say about those midfielders, guys, is look, Barcelona, with those guys in midfield, should be dominating football matches. Look at how they performed at the Euros. I think you look especially at Busquets and Pedri for Spain. It was really, really good to watch. So I'm hoping Koeman can get the most out of, in my opinion, what is probably one of the best midfield 3s in the world. So watch out for those guys. And then up front, of course, you could have something like Messi on the right, Depay on the left, and Aguero down the middle. That can vary. If Dembele's fit, he can play. If Griezmann stays, he can certainly play in there, as we saw last season. You've got Ansu Fati, of course, so we're all waiting to see him come back. But I think as of now, those guys are the 3 most fit attackers we've got. And I think, to start the league at home today, Sociedad at the Camp Nou, this could be the sort of lineup we see. Next up, guys, is going to be the 3-4-3. Quite a modern formation now, actually. I feel as if a lot of sides are using the 3-4-3. Of course, Chelsea used it to great effect to win the Champions League not so long ago now, over a month or so. And I think it is a formation that does suit Barcelona. Someone did comment this, actually, under a poll I did, that I will show you guys later. And I do agree with what he said because, it is a formation that I think could work for Barcelona as well as it does for other clubs. In goal, you'd have Ter Stegen, of course. In the back 3, you could have something like Mingueza, Araujo and Eric Garcia. What I would worry about with the back 3 for next season is we don't have many left-footed centre-backs, if any, right now. Titi will be sold or moved on a loan or released or something. And Longley could also be on his way out. So unless Barcelona bring in someone like Laporte, for example, which just looks so unlikely, then we're going to have to use 3 right-footed centre-backs in the back 3, which isn't ideal, and that might make Koeman think, you know what, maybe I don't want to use that next season. But either way, in midfield, as we saw a lot of last season, you could have, Dest on the right, Alba on the left, and then De Jong and Pedri in a double pivot up there. And then the front 3 guys, you could have, a lot of players, but Messi, Depay, and Ansu Fati. I think on paper, guys, to me, that looks like a fun lineup. It looks really good for Barcelona. I think it actually suits us quite well as well. Messi can come inside. That allows Dest to have the right flank for himself, and, Messi doesn't have to track back so much. I think Depay and Ansu Fati almost, occupying that left flank too, with Jordi Alba coming. I feel as if that also works a lot. Regarding the centre-backs, you can kind of pick and choose who you want in there. Like I said, if you want a left-footer, you can put him there. If you want Emerson at right wing-back, you can put him there. Piqué, I think, is another person you could think about having at the back. But I think the main issue with this, guys, is only 2 midfielders. And I think only 2 midfielders immediately, for me, spells, almost danger for Barcelona. So unless you play De Jong centre-back, then you can't fit Busquets into the team. And that, for me, is kind of worrying. I don't think what Barcelona should really be thinking next season, yeah, let's line up without Busquets. I think that could be a mistake. So I get the feeling we will play a formation with 3 midfielders. And that is why the 3-4-3, whilst to me, on paper, it looks like it could actually suit Barcelona the most. But maybe when we think about it, guys, unless we pick up like an injury midfield, it perhaps isn't the most appropriate. Next up, guys, we've got the 4-2-3-1. Of course, we saw Koeman use this actually right at the start of his reign at Barcelona. He used it in pre-season, then he used it in the first, 10 games or so. He then moved away from it, and I think it's fair to say, guys, it didn't really work. At first, it looked like, yeah, this is going to be fun and great, and we've got a number 10 in here. We've got 2 holding midfielders who are going to help us out. It's going to help us in Europe. But I just never feel this formation works with Barcelona. But either way, guys, I think if we get the personnel right, perhaps it could. Ter Stegen could be in goal. You could have someone like Emerson at right back for more security there. Araujo and Eric Garcia next to Jordi Alba, of course, in defence too. In the double pivot, you'd have to get it right. And we did see last season, guys, De Jong and Busquets in that double pivot. And in my opinion, it just doesn't really work. And that's probably why we're looking at someone like Saul Niguez. I think, to be fair, if we wanted to play a 4-2-3-1 and we had Saul at the club, that could be really, really useful for Barcelona. So maybe that is why Koeman wants that other profile of midfielder there who can almost sit next to Busquets. Maybe someone we don't really have in the club right now, so maybe a 4-2-3-1 comes into play if someone like that does come to Barcelona. But what you have always got the 4-2-3-1, guys, I always feel, is that dangerous attack. And then we saw last season, guys, right at the start of the season, we were lining up with Messi, Griezmann, Coutinho, and Ansu Fati. And whenever I saw that, I thought, we can have fun today. This could be a really high-scoring game. We can hurt the opposition. And it can go like that, to be fair. That's the great thing about the 4-2-3-1. And, similar to next season, you can have Messi, Depay, and Ansu Fati all in behind someone like Sergio Aguero up front. You can have Dembele if he's fit. You could have someone like Collado from the B team, or Yusuf Demir, or even Antoine Griezmann if he stays. So I think with our attacking options, having those 4 in attack is always really useful with the 4-2-3-1. And the final one I'm going to show you guys is going to be the 3-5-2, another formation we did actually use quite a bit last season, and I thought this was an interesting one. What it gives us is security at the back, I felt. We have the 5 defenders, then we've got the 3 that sit in front of them, so it allows us to play, the midfield 3 that we would do in a 4-3-3. But I think what it then does, guys, is it takes away your attack. And I think we saw that a lot of times last season when we played the 3-5-2. For example, at home to Granada, for example, guys, we had Messi and Griezmann up front, and that was it. They're isolated then. There was no one really backing them up. Alaba tries to come and support, but other than that, guys, if you don't really have attacking midfielders, which to be fair, we don't really have. We've got brilliant midfielders, but they're not the sort of midfielders who are going to go past 4 or 5 players and then curl one into the corner. They're just not those sorts of players. They're other types of players we've got in there, so it does leave the attackers quite isolated. And I think you look at the lineup I've got on the screen now, guys, in the 3-5-2, it is good because, like I said, you've got De Jong, you've got Busquets, you've got Pedri in there, Alba and Dest as the wing-backs. We saw this a lot of times last season. You've got the security of the 3 centre-backs too, which, with our defence, it would hopefully help us. And then you have got Messi and Ansu Fati up there. The worry is actually getting them the ball, in good areas, because a lot of times Barcelona play against teams who put 10 or 9 men behind the ball, and you've got to find spaces, with a congested penalty area. And having just those 2 guys there, it can make things difficult. And as I mentioned earlier, guys, I did do a poll the other day, and the poll results, well, they said this. I asked you guys what formation should Barcelona do or play next season, and I think the large, majority of you guys said the 4-3-3. That is, I think, what people are thinking. Look, we're Barcelona, let's go back to it, let's play our best football. And I agree. I think we will start with that. I think that's probably the right thing to do. But I wouldn't be upset if we move to something like a 3-4-3. I think it could work for us. The only issue for me is we only have 2 midfielders in there, and that's worrying. Then we have to drop one of Busquets, Pedri, or De Jong, and that's just not really ideal. But hey, I think that was an interesting video. Please, guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'm interested to hear what you guys think. There were some good comments underneath that poll, like I mentioned. There was a really interesting comment about the 3-4-3 and how that one could work for us. But as always, guys, leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Over the next few weeks, I'll probably be making videos on pre-season, guys, because we've actually got some matches coming up. So I'll drop you guys some videos on those, keeping you up to date with how those matches go if you can't watch them or whatnot. And we can see, what Barcelona could line up like it in pre-season and what sort of players to look out for and whatnot. So there'll be more videos like that in the next couple of weeks. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Share it around. As always, leave your thoughts in the comments down below. And goodbye.